So, you've probably heard of the Black Panther Party for self-defense. That's the history of Black armed self-defense that most people are familiar with. But the reality is this story is much longer and quite frankly much more Southern than a lot of people know. And the Deacons for Defense and Justice are really just the tip of the iceberg. So, the Deacons for Defense and Justice were an armed group formed in 1964 to protect African Americans in Mississippi and Louisiana from the Klan. Now, here's a larger context. 1963 had been kind of a zenith year of the civil rights movement. It was the year of Dr. King's letter from a Birmingham jail. It was the year of the March on Washington. But a lot of bad things also happened in 1963. It was the year of the Birmingham church bombing. It was the year of Medgar Evers' unaliving, and in fact, the unaliving of President Kennedy. And so remember, when we talk about nonviolent direct action protests, there had always been two parties. There was one group like Dr. King who really believed in this. For Dr. King, nonviolent direct action protest was rooted in his Christian beliefs. But there had also been another group of people like Stokely Carmichael who thought that nonviolent direct action protest was a wonderful tactic. They believed that this was a tactic that could be used to challenge segregation. But after what happened to those four little girls in the Birmingham church, after what happened to Medgar Evers, some were starting to question whether or not nonviolent protest was the only or best tactic. And one of the years in which things really come to a head is in 1966. This is when James Meredith, the same young man who desegregated the University of Mississippi, announced his March Against Fear. And what do you know? He starts this march and he is actually shot. In fact, he's shot in the neck, back, and legs. So both civil rights leaders and Black Power advocates decide to join forces and complete his march. And here's where the Deacons for Defense enter. They decide to offer their protection to the marchers. They don't want the same thing that happened to James Meredith to happen to these other marchers. Their protection was welcomed by those Black Power advocates, but activists like King were really hesitant to accept their protection. And this is all happening around the same time that SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, now led by Stokely Carmichael, not John Lewis, began using the term Black Power. So we can really see the Deacons for Defense as part of a shift. There's a shift in the civil rights movement where people are really starting to question the method of nonviolent protest.